All right, so I want to talk a little bit about Rush Limbaugh. As you may or may not know, Rush Limbaugh passed away, died of lung cancer last week, and I obviously have a few things to say about it because Rush Limbaugh is a very important figure when it comes to media and especially like conservative media, and so I think he's a very important figure, and so there's going to be no more Rush, no more Rush. And that sounds like something you might say at a garage sale in 1989. You're so flipping through somebody's albums, and it's like, all you have is Fly By Night? No more Rush? I'm like, no, my wife doesn't like Rush. She doesn't get it. And it's like, yeah, most women don't. Most women don't. They don't get Rush, the band or the man. It requires too much thinking on their part. Anyway, so in the wake of his death, you've seen a lot of celebrities and leftists, like celebrating the death of Rush Limbaugh, and I just think that it's in such poor taste. You know, if Nancy Pelosi, God forbid, died tomorrow, I would not be celebrating her death. It's like, oh, finally, Satan's returning to hell. I wouldn't say anything like that. I may think it, but I don't wish any ill harm. It's like once you're gone, I feel like you're set to zero. I reset to zero, and so I can forgive everything you said. It's not like Rush Limbaugh can ever irritate you again, right? If you're not the kind of person who goes back and watches old Rush Limbaugh shows, all right. Why do you have to be so mean about it? Why do you have to gloat in his death? And that just shows the depth of those people's character, when they say something about Rush Limbaugh. Because let's be honest about what Rush Limbaugh was. Is like he was a sole conservative voice for a very long time, you know. And now we live in this age where liberal or conservative can have a YouTube channel, just like I do, And back in the days where Rush Limbaugh first started out in AM, it was impossible for his conservative voice to get onto FM. See, this is old school radio day stuff. All right. And FM was jam packed because it was frequency modulation was better than amplitude modulators. All right. That's just a simple fact of the matter when it comes to radios. And so, um, but because everyone was moving to FM in that time, that meant that a whole bunch of AM stations and channels basically were opening up. They had plenty of time. They have room for somebody like Rush Limbaugh to come in and like start allowing a conservative voice somewhere on the airwaves. And that's kind of what the fascinating thing about radio is, and even internet radio as podcasting, as the modern art form is. It's what's interesting about it is that there's always going to be room. There's going to be room. And in the era of the fairness doctrine, even under the fairness doctrine, the narrative of what is fair and balanced, you know, still kind of skewed left no matter what. And that's kind of why Reagan got rid of the fairness doctrine, you know. Because after all, it's like the idea is that now you got a cacophony of voices on the internet, conservative and liberal alike, all over the internet. And it's up to you, dear viewer, dear listener, it is up to you to discern what information you're going to retain. Hopefully you're of the mind that you don't believe everything everyone tells you. Certainly, I hope you don't believe everything I say. God, I hope you don't do that. All right. I hope you watch other people's. I hope you get other people's opinions and takes on it. And that's because that's what America is about. It's like you want other people's different flavors. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of the big melting pot. It's like we get all the best flavors ending up on our, on our dinner plates, on our, in our media and so forth. They get all the best stuff. And so, we live in this world where all that is readily available. It's at our fingertips. And Rush Limbaugh came from an era where it was very difficult to find a conservative voice on on the radio. Excuse me. Now, I'm going to be honest. Rest in peace, Rush, but I'm going to be honest. I wasn't a fan. I found Rush Limbaugh to be dry and boring and more of my father's generation of conservative. All right. And I was younger. I'm a Generation X conservative. It's like I like to swear. I'll try drugs. I drink a lot. I like rock and roll. I'm a real, a real rebel. in comparison to my father's generation of conservative. But I mean, that's how the like even like modern conservatives are like that. They're like my generation and younger. It's like that's who we are. We grew up in this world, where we are taught equality and we understood that we are united and equal under the American flag. And so it doesn't matter what your skin color is. That's the generation I grew up in. All right. And that we lived in a meritocracy. If you work hard and plus, hard work plus luck equals great success. All right. And so far, I've only been hardworking. I'm just waiting for a little bit of luck. You know what I mean? But that's the point is that, Rush Limbaugh, it was dry, and I didn't I didn't like it. The way he spoke. I speak faster than he does. I probably get more words out per minute than he does. Granted, I meander and different and go in random little sidetracks and stuff like that. That happens a lot for sure. But that man, speaking for 3 hours a day for 30 years is no joke. No joke. I do maybe an hour a week. All right. I could do it. I just don't know if I could write that much to fill 3 hours every day, to be honest. I would have to be writing like 10 hours a day on top of that. Or I'd just have to sit here and read news articles to you. And be honest, I wish I could write that much. And Rush, he had plenty of things to talk about. Filling 3 hours is no joke every day. It's no joke, especially when you're not Howard Stern, where you could just hit like the fart button for like 5 minutes while you go to the bathroom. Anyway, but that's the point. It's like you had people like Howard Stern on radio. You had people like Rush Limbaugh on radio. And Rush Limbaugh, he was the first and only voice in quite a while. And so, in many ways, he shaped a generation of conservatives. However, following Rush, there was plenty of other people who followed him to AM, conservative voices. A lot of conservative voices started popping up on AM, and soon, there became more and more people that are talking about it. Let's face it. Half the country is conservative. Around half the country is conservative. Okay, and so when the news always seems to like focus on one side of the argument or another, you kind of there's a hunger. There's a hunger for conservatives in some a like-minded media, and that's the only way I can express the success of like the Daily Wire or Louder with Crowder is because people were hungry for that kind of content, And silly me, I think I can break into that market, competing with people like Ben Shapiro and Steven Crowder. But that's the point: is that Rush paved the way for people like them and people like me to do what we do and what we want to do. And this is what I want to do. I may not have liked Rush Limbaugh's show, but I said, boy, I would sure love to do the show right after his. You know what I mean? I mean, back in '95 when I was just getting out of high school, and I'm trying to break into radio, and and I couldn't get in. I couldn't get anywhere. It was real hard. You had to have serious education or serious experience to break into that market. Luckily, Rush had that kind of experience, and he had some financial backing, I guess. And so he was able to get into the AM market. In those days, that's an impressive feat. Now anybody can flip on their webcam and talk to the public, talk to the entire world. All right? But back then, that's impressive. Anyway, so did you know that Paula Oh, I want to read one more thing. Hold on. He's like, wait a minute, how's he going to circle back to Paula Abdul? Hold on. I want to talk about The Spirit of Radio, but not that Rush Limbaugh. I'm talking about just Rush. The Spirit of Radio is it's a really good song, and I bring it up because I wanted to work in some sort of Rush song lyric into this conversation about Rush Limbaugh. And so there's a song by Rush called "The Spirit of Radio." There's a quote of the lyrics I want to read to you. It's that invisible airwaves crackle with life, bright antenna bristle with the energy, emotional feedback on timeless wavelength, bearing a gift beyond price, almost free. And I love that song by Rush because it's a love song to radio. it's like the Queen song Radio Gaga. It's a love song to radio, and I get it. I really do because it's like in many ways, Rush. I'm part of that generation. Those older guys who grew up with in the radio era, and a lot of people don't understand or appreciate what it was like back then. when it comes to like all you can really listen to is any tapes you brought with you from home in your car, or AM or FM. You know, a lot of people don't. A lot of kids these days they don't even understand what that could be like. So yeah, do you know Paula Abdul made a song about him too? It's called "Rush, Rush." I can feel it. I can feel you all through me. Rush, rush. Ooh, what you do to me. See, I think you don't think that song was about that Paula Abdul didn't do a song about Rush Limbaugh? I'm getting some disagreement here in the studio, but I swear I think that Paula Abdul was like really mad at Rush one day and she wrote that song. Like that, I can feel you rush through me. Probably. Rest in peace, Rush. I hope. I hope if you're watching my show, I hope you have better things to do in heaven or wherever you are. I don't know. Never been there. So I hope you find, my sense of humor is like, I hope you're not up there shaking your head going, it's like, this is what I did all that hard work for jackasses like this. Anyway, rest in peace, Rush.